Hello students, today we will discuss about survival of a lone woman is almost impossible। यानी मार्गरेट एटवुड ने ऐसे वर्ल्ड को, ऐसे संसार को प्रेजेंट किया है जहाँ पर जो अकेली वुमेन हैं वो कैसे सरवाइव करती हैं। ये ओके। इन वर्ल्डली हार मार्गरेट एटवुड डिपिक्ट्स अ वर्ल्ड इन विच द सर्वाइवल ऑफ रेनी द हीरोइन ऑफ द नॉवेल इज ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल। मतलब जो रैनी जिस तरीके से सर्वाइव करती है वो हर तरीके से इम्पॉसिबल होता है। फर्स्ट बिकॉज शी इज अ वुमेन एंड सेकंड शी इज अ अलोन। वो एक तो लेडी होती है, ऊपर से क्या होता है अलोन होती है। शी फॉल्स अ प्रे टू द यूज ऑफ मैन who dominated this world. They exploit Rani sexually and use her to serve their purpose and leave her in such a situation as she is unable to come out. She ends in jail for no fault of her. In the world of bodily harm, men are to be blamed for all Rani's problems. They are effectively showed mixing things with politics and bringing a revolution, and it is evident that all the violent people beating the prisoners, for example, are men. They love power, but they do not know how to use it for the good of people. Okay. Indeed, the word also they represent people seeking power above all, oppressing battle of every disadvantaged group to obtain the right to exist and live in equality with the people governing them. Through this book, the novelist poses various questions and invites the reader to contemplate them. She is successful in doing this because she does not only show the reader the obvious problem of our world, but also men's hidden faces and the way their different aspects are mingled. Margaret Atwood shows in Worldly Harm how Renée struggled to find her identity both as a woman and as a person, and to define the limits of her body are mingled. And these problems put her in jeopardy. This is tightly connected with her relationship with men, since at the same time they create and solve her problems, she is physically and psychologically attacked by men. Those that use the circumstances of taking advantage of Renée, as she is in a state in which she turns to men to find help. The situation presented in Worldly Harm is an extreme one indeed. It makes this novel appealing because the parts of the events may have happened to the reader. Margaret Atwood shows both the paradoxes of the world and builds each personality in order to create a complex web. She invites the reader to follow the heroine through this nest from a woman's point of view, not of someone trying to promote or depends upon ideas. Though Margaret Atwood is a feminist, she has no hesitation in criticizing this movement. She shows the right reader that the trouble comes not from men. Women are not poor, helpless victims, but also have failures and make mistakes. However, this book is about women. Canadians are the women among the different nations running. Being a woman and a Canadian, she is a twist a woman. Actually, the author also regards all who have weakness and suffer misunderstanding. This makes the book interesting and appealing for everyone, because almost anyone can identify with the characters in this book. She also spots light on the fact that life can be totally changed and be modeled like plastic. Here it is done a very negative way, and the novelist invites us to think how we can do better. Renée is caught in a wave created by men like Jack, Paul and Minnow, as she finds it impossible to come out of it. Each man exploits and uses her, and in the end she is left squeezed. The novel gives us the impression that the world is not a fit place to live in for a simple woman like Renée. Here her only fault is that she believes the men who came in her life and let them use her in whatever way they like. Okay. Reni faces many problems. One of her fears is that the limits is between the inside and outside of her body could vanish. This is evident from a number of her thoughts. Most of all, she is afraid of the ideas to be cut open and that the inside of her body would come out. That physical fear of being opened reflects her refusal or inability to psychologically open up to her boyfriend Jack. The fear of physical loss seems unbearable for her. Her fear seems to symbolize her of her cancer. She feels that the dead cells in her body and the germs of cancer are invading her whole body without being stopped by any cancer, are invading her whole body without being stopped by any fence. But this fear has been troubling her well before her illness, and cancer only increases it. At any cost, she wants to feel secure and not lost. If the structure of her life is perturbed, she loses her marks and finally feels in an unknown and potentially dangerous world. As in its San Antonio, where everyone is not what they see and can do, cannot be defined, she loses all control over her life. What really frightens her is the idea of body whose limits in the insides and the outside are disappearing. This seems to point out that deeply inside her is that fear of her flesh. She is afraid of it being harmed. Of course, surely is the exact realization of this fear. When she is operated and a breast of her is cut off, this act breaks the limits of her body. It is very common for a woman to feel harm when a breast of there is removed. The harm may not be apparent, but the scar is always there. This is often not recognized and is not believed to be an important issue. Nevertheless, it is highly important for women concerned because breast is an important part of her body, and if it is removed, all her attraction is gone forever. This leads Reni even to question the reality of her body and the fact that it belongs to her because it does not attract and arouse Jack anymore, and since he is used to living very much through him, her body vanishes in his mind too. This impossibility to have a physical relationship with Jack leads him to break up. The separation does not help Reni to improve, finding herself with literally nobody. She still has to physically live in it. As a result of it, she sees her body as apart from him. A piece of flesh she has to carry all the time, a piece of flesh only creating a lot of problem. Reni feels that limits of her body are trespassed by strangers who invaded it. Any woman in that situation would feel attacked, and very vulnerable women need integrity and control over their bodies, or they will never be able to feel safe in this world. Reni is frightened to imagine someone cutting her own flesh and is impressed how someone can know what is inside her that she ignores. Furthermore, this knowledge gives an edge over her. Women must at all cost get rid of scars of their fear. They must make men admit that physical relationship between the sexes must be on equal terms, and that the needs and desires of women are important as those of men. There is another limit that Reni crosses against her will, the limit between her own nice world and the wild outside world. When she arrives at San Antonio, she steps into dangerous surroundings. She has left a nice place, Canada, where she had no threatening problem. In Canada, her problems only prevent her from only fully enjoying life. Besides, she used to be in lucky minority where happiness is an issue. People feel they have a right to discuss. The major part of the world is not like Toronto. Here, out of the luxurious hotels, local people are living in a universe full of violence and danger. On account of poverty and fictional political structure, a number of people are suffering, struggling only to survive, and there is more to take care of them, of their individual lives. Reni should normally not enter this logic, but she gets mingled with local people. It manifests that this transgression of limit can make her weak, vulnerable, and she is exposed to an unknown situation. When he receives a rude shock to discover that there exists a very thin limit between life and death in San Antonio, because she is accustomed to life in a society that protects weak people. She feels even more helpless in a place where everyone must fight to survive. The only other possibility is to live up and die. This dilemma remains one of the dangers she has to face with cancer. She can either be cured, which means that her flesh will be cut off, or stay untouched, meaning dying. She decides to undergo surgery because, in this case, she is helped and taken care of, but she is completely beaten between the battles. She is thrown in San Antonio because there is no one to save her, and she finally has to give up everything when she is put in jail. Towards the close of the novel, we read of the hands of Rennie's grandmother. She is searching for them. Margaret Atwood sees hands as an extension of brain. There is a moment when Rennie herself is searching for her hands, and it could mean that unconsciously she realizes that she lost her mind and is trying to find it again. This exhibits how the feminine identity and definition of limits of women's bodies are mixed together and how both elements interact. Rennie's body integrity as well as her feminine identity are threatened by men.